Hello, this is Jane Goodall. First, I want to thank you for giving me a chance to send a message for this important gathering. I've known about the power, the horror, and the inhumanity of nuclear weapons since I was 11 years old. That's when the first atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I vividly remember the photos of the total devastation, the unbelievable knowledge that one bomb could wipe out an entire city, kill hundreds of thousands of innocent people, and contaminate hundreds and thousands more with radioactive fallout. You'd think, wouldn't you, that knowing about the horrific effects of the atom bomb, no one would want such a terrible weapon to ever be deployed again. Yet, unbelievably, some countries went on to develop an even more powerful weapon, the hydrogen bomb. And of course, their new bomb had to be tested. And these tests, as you know, were conducted by several countries in a number of places around the world, above ground, underground, and deep in the ocean. And this, of course, resulted in widespread radioactive contamination of land, air, and water, causing unimaginable suffering. It's encouraging to know that thanks to your organization, almost all countries now support the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of work to be done because even after 30 years, there are still countries who haven't signed the treaty and many more who haven't yet ratified it. Sadly, our planet is facing many human-induced threats other than atomic explosions. Climate change. There's the reckless burning of fossil fuel by industry, industrial agriculture, travel, and in our homes. And this releases huge amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere, and CO2 is the most prevalent of the so-called greenhouse gases that trap the heat of the sun. And by the way, the huge amounts of gas, CO2, generated by the machinery of modern warfare is hardly ever mentioned. Rising temperatures, of course, are causing changes in weather patterns, leading to the increasing frequency of hurricanes, flooding, droughts, heat waves, and forest fires. Sea levels are rising, partly because of the melting of Arctic ice and glaciers, but also because water expands as it warms. And this is causing the loss of coastal land in many parts of the world, and some Pacific islands have vanished altogether. We're destroying forests and polluting oceans, the two great lungs of the world that sequester CO2 from the atmosphere and give us oxygen. And the ocean is overfished as well. The chemical pesticides and herbicides of industrial agriculture are harming wildlife. Artificial fertilizers are killing the soil. Huge areas of land are cleared just to grow grain to feed the billions of sentient animals in factory farms. Then many people have unsustainable lifestyles that make unsustainable demands on the natural world, and many more live in poverty, destroying the environment in their desperate struggle to survive, like cutting down trees to make more land to grow more food. Corporations think making money is really important for the short term and don't seem to care about future generations. Yet, how can we have unlimited economic development on a planet with finite natural resources and growing populations of humans and livestock? Somehow, we must create a balance between present human needs and protection of the environment for future generations. We must understand that not only are we part of the natural world, but we depend on it for food, water, air, well, everything. Because of all this, it's not surprising that people are losing hope. And indeed, we are at a critical crossroads. One path leads to the end of life on Earth as we know it, the other to a slow climb out of the mess that we've made. I've summarized some of the threats we face, not to create an atmosphere of hopelessness, quite the contrary. It's simply to convince you of the need for action. While most people can't be involved in cleaning up nuclear contamination, we can all work towards solving the other environmental disasters that we have created. Many people ask me, Jane, you've lived to see so much harm inflicted on the planet, so much human and animal suffering. Do you honestly have hope? Well, I do. After all, we are the most intellectual beings to ever walk the earth, and more scientists are now using exactly the same kind of brain that created the hydrogen bomb. And they're using their brain to find technological ways in which we can live in better harmony with nature, such as renewable energy from sun, wind, and tides. What's exciting is that the sophisticated method invented by CTBTO to detect illegal nuclear tests can also help climate research, provide warning of tsunamis, and even, I'm told, track whale migrations. More and more people understand the need to work with and not against nature, moving away from industrial farming to small family farms, regenerative farming, and so on. Moreover, there's a growing understanding that for the sake of the environment, we should move towards a plant-based diet. And more people are asking questions about what they buy. Did it harm the environment? Was it cruel to animals? Is it cheap because of unfair wages? If so, they'll search for a more ethically produced product. Of course, it may cost more, but then it will be valued more and there will be less waste. That's another huge environmental problem. Now I come to my greatest reason for hope. The energy and commitment of young people once they know the problems and are empowered to take action. Back in 1991, when I realized even then young people were losing hope, I founded Roots and Shoots, an environmental and humanitarian program for young people. Its main message is that every single one of us makes a difference every single day, and most of us can choose what sort of difference we make. And the youth learns that even a small action like picking up a piece of trash, when performed by many people, will cumulatively make a big difference. Every one of us has a role to play. Each Roots and Shoots group chooses 3 projects to help people, to help animals, to help the environment. And they're making an impact in their communities. They're inspiring others to do the same. We try to bring members from different countries together, usually virtually, and they discover that far more important than the color of our skin, our language, our culture, even our religion, is the fact that we're all human beings. We all laugh and cry, and when we bleed, our blood is the same. Theoretically, we should be one family, sharing the core values of respect, empathy, and compassion for each other, for animals, and for the environment, and living in peace. Our aim is to grow more caring, compassionate, and environmentally educated citizens. Well, what began with 12 high school students in Tanzania is now in 75 countries, and it's got members from preschool through university. Our earlier members are now adult, and they, for the most part, retain the Roots and Shoots values of compassion, respect, and courage. And some are now in decision-making positions, standing up for environmental and human justice. It's my firm belief that no one who's embraced the Roots and Shoots philosophy would condone the testing of nuclear bombs. I've only just learned of the CTBTO youth group. They seem to have the same values as Roots and Shoots members. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the two youth organizations could collaborate? Certainly, I'd love to ensure that our Roots and Shoots high school and university members learn about the threat posed by testing nuclear bombs. My last reason for hope is the resilience of nature. I've seen so many examples of how nature will return to places that we have utterly destroyed. I was invited to Nagasaki 45 years after the atomic bomb destroyed the city. I was told that 2 months after the explosion, a group of scientists and military had visited the city to assess the impact of the bomb. They found everything was destroyed. Trees had lost all their leaves and branches. Some had been uprooted. But amazingly, they found 2 500-year-old camphor trees still showing signs of life. The upper part of their trunks had been snapped off, and the rest had lost most of their branches and all their leaves. Once very tall trees, they were now no more than 30 feet high. But a few buds, living buds, had appeared at the end of some of the branches. And as these trees, along with a few other survivors in both Nagasaki and Hiroshima, gradually regained healthy growth, this gave hope to the many humans who also survived the blast and were struggling to overcome the effects of radiation. I was taken to see one of the Nagasaki trees. It had been designated a national monument in 1969. The trunk was hollow, and it was all black inside, but the branches had sprouted many leaves. It looked green and healthy. Hanging from its branches were many little strips of parchment where people had written prayers for those who had lost their lives. It's revered, a holy shrine, a memorial to all who died and suffered. I stood there looking a long time, unable to hide my tears. And on that note, let me end, thanking again all of you who arranged this gathering, and those of you working to ban all further testing of nuclear bombs. Thank you, and thank you again, and good luck.